Hello and welcome back to the Argyle CIO Leadership Forum. My name is Vickilynn Brunskill with Argyle. It's great to have everyone joining us today. Just a couple of notes before I turn things over to our esteemed speaker and moderate this fireside chat. First, a quick reminder to stop by our sponsors' virtual booths at any time during today's event and for the following week. Our partners are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience today. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, and those do include complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. Also, throughout today's event, you have the opportunity to win one of several prizes, so please do check out the prizes and raffle rules tab of the interface. Now, without further delay, I'd like to introduce our speaker for the session, Alex Gay, Senior Director, Document Cloud Product Marketing at Adobe. As Senior Director of Product Marketing, Document Cloud for Business, Alex manages a team focused on transforming the way documents, signatures, and workflows support operational efficiency, employee experience, and customer delight. Prior to leading Document Cloud at Adobe, Alex led the Adobe product marketing team in education, ensuring that every student was inspired and enabled to create. We are so excited to have Alex with us for a fireside chat presentation titled Level Up Workplace Productivity in the Age of Information Overload. Welcome, Alex. We're so happy to have you with us today for this timely and practical topic.
Thank you for having me, Vickilynn.
So to start, would you like to tell us a little bit more about your role at Adobe?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I lead the product marketing team for Document Cloud across our B2B customer base. And really what we do is we help support customers through their digital transformation. We found that especially over the past 5, 6 years, as customers have invested significantly in digital transformation, especially going through business continuity during the pandemic and then through technology rationalization afterwards, that documents end up and document workflows play a key role in that digital transformation effort, whether it's how I can hire people faster, how I can get my contracts signed faster. And so we work with customers across the board and thinking how we can drive automation, integration, end user solutions to help really bring that digital transformation to life.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, that's it today. Everybody wants to talk about productivity. So
Exactly.
we have to dig into this. I have some very important questions to ask you today.
All right.
Um, I'd like to start a discussion by asking about some exciting news we heard about AI
Mm-hmm.
Assistant in Acrobat over the last month. Can you tell us a bit more about the feature set and why Adobe invested in this area to support business productivity? What made you
Yeah,
go there?
absolutely. So one thing that we've recognized is, since we introduced the PDF file format like 30 years ago, and it's become the de facto standard for businesses. There's now over 3 trillion PDFs across the globe. But what we found is that the sheer volume of information that's being created, a lot of it in PDF, has become really overwhelming for end users. 80% of employees report information overload. We hear terms like content swarm now, information oversharing, where there's just so much content that's coming to people. And being able to get the right insights from those documents is really challenging. It takes a lot of time, but there's so much value that's within there. So actually, about 4 or 5 years ago, we started our investments in AI and machine learning within Acrobat. Started looking at how, with our deep understanding of document structure, we could start to reflow documents to work on a mobile device. So if I open up a PDF, you don't have to do the pinch and zoom anymore to try and read the document. We can reflow it so it's like a website. And that was our first application of machine learning into the experience that we were delivering for customers. And it really set the foundation for what we've now been able to introduce with AI Assistant, which is where we can take all of that information that is coming to users in PDF, but also in other file formats as well, and be able to synthesize quickly the content that's within there, but enable you to have a conversation with the document. So even if it's 120 pages long as an annual report with a lot of detail within there, you can very quickly get to the insights that you need from that document and have a back and forth. So you can move through that document quickly, get what you need, and then be able to use those insights to make you do your job better. So we introduced AI Assistant about a month ago. The reception's been fantastic so far. We're excited as we have a robust roadmap of new features that are going to come in to strengthen the value even more. But so far, really delivering on that promise of trying to get really verifiable, accurate insights from all of the content that's coming to employees is what we brought in this first wave.
Excellent, excellent. I love that you say have a conversation with the document. That's perfect. And we are in content swarm. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely. Now I'd like to talk about a topic that we're hearing a lot of buzz about, and that's security and risk, of course, associated with
Yes.
AI. Security and risk are top of mind for so many organizations, as specifically around the adoption of Gen AI within the workplace. How is Adobe approaching data security and privacy concerns?
Well, because of the fact that the documents in particular house some of the most important content that an organization has, those are your contracts, your IP. We take the responsibility of that data really, really seriously, and we have done ever since we've introduced Acrobat and the services that surround Acrobat to be able to drive some of that automation. When it comes to AI, I think one of the key questions that people have is what's going to happen to my data? Who has access to it? Where does it go? How is it used? And I think those are the key questions that people need to ask when they're considering AI tools in their application. The approach that a lot of organizations have taken is AI is applied at scale across an organization, which means that organizations have to spend quite a lot of time on driving the right data governance to make sure that the only certain data is visible to certain people, and insights that are being served up to an individual contain information that they have access to. That can be quite a lift for organizations. We took a different path with AI Assistant. We were really just looking at the documents that AI Assistant was being used against. That is the frame of reference that the AI is working against. It doesn't go across your organization's content, so you don't have to have those concerns about the access controls and data governance in order to be able to leverage AI Assistant. If you open up a document, you by nature have access to that, and AI Assistant runs against it. Then in the way that the data is used, an important thing for a lot of organizations to really question around is how is an LLM being trained on the data or the prompts that my employees are using? There's no training of LLMs that happens based on prompt data or document data. That happens with AI assistants. So you can be assured that none of the company data that you have is being used to train a model that could be used by other customers. And so putting that data potentially at risk, or even just within your own organization. So those were two of the aspects that were critical for us, in addition to the AI ethics that we apply across all of the AI tools that we introduced across Creative Cloud, our Experience Cloud, and then now within Document Cloud, where we try and reduce harmful bias, etc. But that use of the data was a critical component on how we brought AI Assistant to market.
Yeah, that's so important, knowing that none of your company data is being used to train.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's critical.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like users can feel confident that Adobe has their
I think
backs
what
in
we
terms
want
of security.
Yeah, what we were really hoping for is really fast time to value. We didn't want the IT headaches that come with implementing a software. So we limited the scope as much as possible. So an admin or anyone within the IT organization can feel confident that when it's being used by an individual, it doesn't the kind of the tentacles don't reach any further within the organization to try and capture those insights. And so it makes that deployment time really fast. And makes it possible for employees to realize the value really fast.
Perfect. Sounds terrific. So now let's dig into the features a little bit more. How are the Acrobat generative AI beta features different from what other generative AI service providers, for example, ChatGPT, free
Yep.
PDF tools, are offering to customers?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the biggest challenges that I think IT leaders have is everyone has an AI solution, and it's really understanding, what AI solutions are truly going to bring me value. And I've met with so many CIOs where they talk about, the marketing is great on these AI tools, but sometimes the reality doesn't necessarily map to it. And it becomes a really big job to try and break through some of the noise and understand where real value is being delivered. And I think there's a couple of things that were critical for us. And we spent a long time on testing AI Assistant internally within Adobe to make sure that we were driving really meaningful value to all of our employees before we brought it out to market. So we had it used within Adobe for 6 months. Across all of our employees, testing, using, providing feedback before we brought the beta to market. And what that enabled us to do was really understand a couple of things. First and foremost, the importance of accurate and verifiable responses. I think one of the common things that we hear across AI tools is the notion of hallucinations, especially when an AI tool is leveraging content that exists across the web. That can be from any time period, that can be across different perceptions, and it introduces this very high risk of hallucination. So the responses that you get back, you can't rely on the accuracy of that content, and you have to go through additional steps to make sure that it is true. What we built within AI Assistant was an attribution engine. So anytime that we provide you with an insight, we provide the attribution directly back to the portion of the document where that insight was drawn. So you've got the ability to immediately verify the accuracy of the responses, so you can feel the confidence in using those insights in whatever way you want. So that was a critical component, of making sure that we had very high accuracy and we had the verifiability through the attributions. The second part that was key was about the way that we were using the data. We wanted to make sure that people had the confidence to be able to apply this at scale across the organization without data leakage that might happen from the organization. So having trusted vendors that are behind your AI tools, that you know that your data is going to be safe within and not used to train models, is another critical component. And the third aspect is, we are very much in the flow of work. So when you open up a document, a PDF in particular, that's going to open up within either Reader or the web browser or within Acrobat itself. And having those tools right there where someone needs it enables them to get their work done faster. So you don't have to bring in new tools or take content out somewhere else in order to provide those insights. It's all happening where the work is getting done. So those were some of the key portions for us that built differentiated the end user experience, in addition to what I mentioned before about trying to make it really fast and easy to deploy for organizations.
This sounds like everyone needs this. I think I need this now.
Well, I mean, I will say one of the things that I've talked a lot about, because even personally, I like when we talk about that information overload, everyone can relate to that. But when you start to make it real, like I have a folder where I have market research data. I've got customer interview testimonials or customer interview transcripts that I want to go and find the detail around. I just never have the time to do it. I know that I'll be better at my job if I can get the insights from those documents. But they're just sitting gathering digital dust and on my desktop, and I'll never ever get to them. But this provides an opportunity where I can spend the time to get the pieces of information from there that will make me better at my job, that will make me understand my customers better, make me understand the market better, make me understand my competitors better, in a way that I've never been able to do before. So for me, it's that unlock. I can now accomplish my job at a higher level than I was able to do by taking some of that burden of having to go deep within documents, especially long documents, which I just didn't have the capacity for.
Okay, I want it now. So let's talk about what's next. What's next? What's next for Acrobat AI Assistant? Can you give us any more insight into future feature
Yeah,
rollouts?
happy to. So as we're going to be rolling out new features over the course of the next few weeks, some of the ones that we've talked about that I think are most exciting is multi-docs. So originally we were the initial beta release was just on a single document. With multi-document, you're going to be able to add different documents, different file formats within there. So it doesn't matter if it's PDF or Word or PowerPoint. You'll be able to pull all of those together and run AI Assistant across all of them. What that enables you to do is compare and contrast too. So a great use case that we've seen is around contracts. Where you want to be able to look at contracts pre-renewal, post-renewal, and see what are the differences between them. And AI System will be able to very quickly tell you what has changed within the contract and anything to be aware of. So that, I think, for us is going to unlock a huge number of use cases for employees across the board. We're really excited about the creation aspect too. I think one of the things that we see a lot is PDF's often a final format that you've done the work in Word, and then you want to turn it into something that's a secure file format. You turn it into PDF. We believe there's an opportunity before that final step where you can beautify the document. So if it is a case of that you want to add imagery within there, you can start to bring in all of the capabilities that come from our creative tools and Firefly to do image generation for you, to make your document really pop, structure it properly, as well as all the things that you can do from the AI assistant around the authoring portion of it. So I've started with a research document. I want to turn it into a blog post that can be put on LinkedIn. It will do that creation for you and then add all of the creative the wizardry to make it really pop to your customers. So that next wave of the creation aspect of AI Assistant is, I think, where we're going to see a tremendous amount of momentum with the product too, and that's coming shortly as well.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all this good news in the world of Adobe. Um,
It's
any
an exciting
close?
time.
It is. It sounds like it is. Any closing remarks or comments before we take a couple of questions from the audience? I do see a couple of questions.
Well, I think just overall, the notion for us is like we're constantly getting feedback from customers on how this can be deployed across multiple different users, where the value is lying. Based on internal user feedback, we accelerated the mobile rollout of this. So now, actually, if you open up a PDF on a mobile device, you'll see the assistant in there. You can actually talk to it at that point, and it'll do voice prompts and search the document for you. So that user feedback is key, and we're really excited as the pace of innovation is happening so quickly to get that feedback for customers on how can they deploy this to their users better, like what can we do to make it even easier for organizations, and then how can end users be getting even more value across multiple surfaces, multiple applications, like where are the pain points, where are the frictions that exist with this that we can accelerate the solutions for. So excited for where we are today and what we've launched, but really excited for getting the feedback on what we can develop and drive in the future.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get to a couple of questions from the audience that have come in.
Yep.
The first one that I see is, what are some of the roles that will see the most benefit from Adobe AI Assistant?
Well, the reality is that although everyone consumes documents and PDFs, I think there's like when we look at it from a consumption standpoint, almost every worker within an organization has to read documents in some way. Some with higher volume than others. And I think where we see that high document use is where we see some of the biggest unlocks happening. So we've seen within sales a lot of use cases for how you can go through like if you take, for example, I have a new customer that's been added to my book of business. I want to understand them, their history, the key personas within there, and where I might be able to provide value. That's a lot of customer research I want to do ahead of time, so I'm informed before I have my first engagement with the customer. Going through annual reports, going through statements from executives, going through LinkedIn content and LinkedIn articles that might be linked from the people I want to be talking to, and synthesizing all of that so I can get the insights quickly and map those to the value proposition of the products I have. So you can start to kind of say, within the annual reports, the customer talked about these as real pain points, opportunities, and then based on the value prop of the products I have, here are some discovery questions that I could take to my customer and really make sure that I am speaking knowledgeably and asking the right questions that will move the sale forward or move the process forward. So sales has been an area where getting rapid customer insights, getting help on authoring discovery questions, even getting help on analyzing contracts has been a key accelerant, so they can be spending more time speaking to customers, less time on the researching side to get themselves informed. Human resources is another area that we have seen a lot of pickup. everything from summarizing candidate resumes. We've been doing a lot of work with smaller companies where they don't have application tracking software and things that can help them filter through thousands of resumes at any one time. AI Assistant can actually help you get to an understanding of the qualification of candidates that are coming in. So streamlining your efforts to make sure that you have the right people that you're spending time going deep on. Again, freeing up time for you to have the conversations with the talent that you want to bring on board versus spending time on reading through the resumes. I think that's it's about getting to the high value actions faster. And then we see across finance, we see across product development, like the tail of these use cases is extensive across the organization. And Adobe is a perfect example of that, where we have seen pretty much across every functional area internally within Adobe, strong use cases, user-generated use cases coming out, which we've then made available on the website for people to get some inspiration of where they might be able to find some help. But it really has been something pervasive across the board, which has been exciting to see.
So you said those use cases are available on the site?
Yeah, we have started publishing those on adobe.com. So you'll be able to go and we can share the link where you can go directly to some of the use cases. We've got the key ones, but then there's a library where we'll have over 100 use cases, and almost every single one of them came from users within Adobe and the early adopters that we've had with other customers and telling their stories of kind of what they were doing before, and then with AI Assistant, what they're able to do afterwards.
Excellent. Very useful. Very useful. Okay. So our next question, we have time for one more. What is the biggest mistake you think organizations make when beginning the integration of AI, and how can they avoid that or them?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things. Number one, I think really understanding what the value of the AI is going to be, I think is key. I think everyone gets caught up in the wave of momentum around I have to apply AI across my processes and across my employees, but really understanding like what is actually going to make a meaningful difference to the experience of my users or to my processes overall, I think is critical. The security is something which I'm confident everyone on this call keeps at the front of their mind, but it's a mistake that people make. People have an assumption based on how the data would be used, and I think it's always good to do that verification on the data to make sure that you're comfortable with the vendor that you're working with and the way that the data flows are going to operate. And then I think understanding that there's going to be some time and change management that has to happen with this. This is, for a lot of people, this is going to be behavior shifts. People have been used to, if we take even within document consumption, people have been used to reading documents, like people have ingrained behaviors, like introducing the AI assistant is not going to feel natural at first for a lot of people. And it's going to take time for them to raise their comfort level. It's going to take time for them to realize what is a better path for them to take. And so understanding that there is going to be a ramp time on getting that usage and getting that change in behavior happening. It doesn't always deliver the immediate payoff, although for certainly we've seen with some of the early adopters on this program, those that have jumped straight in have unlocked a lot of immediate upside. But for the longer tail, for those that are just more consuming documents, we know that that's going to take time for people to really see that benefit, but we're confident that will come.
Thank you again, Alex, for that excellent discussion. What a wonderful session this has been. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today for this session. This session, along with all of today's content, will be available on demand following the event. And as a reminder, please do check out the prizes and raffle rules section to see how you can earn points for the chance to win one of several prizes. Our next session will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and that will be a keynote session titled On the Edge in 2024, Exploring Cloud and Edge Computing. Please click on the join button that will appear on your screen to be redirected to the next session, and we look forward to seeing you there.